Buckeye fans, we're getting really close to the national championship game against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish coming your way on Monday. And the big storyline, can this Ohio State defense continue their dominance? We dive into the matchup between the Ohio State defense and the Notre Dame offense tonight on the Buckeye Breakdown Podcast.
We've got the whole crew together as we cover Ohio State with our instant analysis from Ohio State.
There's something that doesn't feel right.
Unbelievable effort from him today. Is E.J. Liddell going to crack the first team All-Big Ten?
I think he can be the guy. I'm not trying to start a quarterback controversy.
He seems to have the durability. He certainly has the toughness. This is the question on a lot of people's minds here. Welcome to Buckeye Breakdown.
Buckeye fans, welcome into another episode of the Buckeye Breakdown Podcast. We're coming to you on a matchup Thursday, a defensive preview between the Ohio State defense and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish offense. Anthony Moeglin alongside my partner, former Buckeye tackle Kevin Woidke. And Kevin, yesterday we talked about how the Notre Dame defense could give Ohio State some problems, maybe a little bit on offense, but tonight we flipped the script and talk about how this amazing Ohio State defense can continue their dominant play, man. This group's been really impressive, and they've continued to just get better and better and better. And you didn't think that would be possible, but they're playing like the best group in the country.
No, they are. They've had this chip on their shoulder. They've had this edge to them all year, and I just hope they can continue to showcase that. They've been very – I'd say consistent is probably the term I'd use. I mean, the only outlier is the Oregon game. It's been a pretty steady line at the Oregon game and then pretty steady line from then on out again. Just in how they've played, how dominant they've been. I could pull up their stats, but they're number one and everything. It seems like it's impressive watching them go out there and play at such a high level because we had a lot of high hopes for this defense. And when you look at it as a whole, you see why we had high hopes, and then when you look at the season as a whole, it's like, you know what, they lived up to what we expect them to do.
Dude, we said it weekly, and I shouldn't say we. I mean, you said it weekly. Like, this group on defense really carried Ohio State as the offense was trying to find their way. I mean, I'm going to go through each week of the season. 6 points against Akron, 0 points against Western Michigan, 14 points against Marshall, 7 against Michigan State, 7 against Iowa, 32 against Oregon, there's your outlier, then 17 against Nebraska, 13 against Penn State, 0 against Purdue, 7 Northwestern, 15 Indiana, 13 Michigan, and then you go 17 against Tennessee, 21 against Oregon, and then 14 against Texas. I mean, you take that one Oregon game away, your the highest total you gave up was 21 points. I mean, that is unbelievable stuff, man, and it's such a fun group to look at. We're going to examine it in a little bit here as the unit as a whole, but it's been very, very clear, and now it's clear on a national stage, Kev, that this group is led by Jack Sawyer, and Captain Jack Sawyer is the perfect name for him, and he's living up to the billing.
No, he is. He's, I remember when he came in, everyone was touting him as this big-time recruit. Mm-hmm. He got in there right after I left. Everyone was excited that we got him. We got to keep him in Columbus. And this year is really him deciding to come back. It's made him a first-round draft pick. I mean, if someone gets him in the second round, it'll be an absolute steal. He is – it seems like, Cody Simon has been the heart and soul of this defense, but Jack Sawyer has definitely been the vocal leader. He's been the one – you saw him after the TM North game, distraught, and – he channeled that anger and put it into everything into these playoffs. He's like, all right, well then I'm going to make this all worth it and go one more time.
Yeah, and obviously everyone's going to remember the play from the Texas game, and for good reason, right? It was an unbelievable play. It'll never be forgotten in the history of Ohio State football for the rest of the time. But one of the things that, will get forgotten is the 3 plays leading up to the strip sack. he was making the play. He was pushing the pocket back into the quarterback. Quinn Ewers had no time to throw it. He actually deflected one of the throws that would have been a potential touchdown pass. He made a tackle for a loss in the backfield. Like, he was everywhere that he needed to be. And then when his time came and his number was called, he answered it in a big way, and the biggest way. The strip sack, 82 yards to the house to punch Ohio State's ticket to the national championship in a scenario where you never know. Texas scores a touchdown there. Maybe they go for 2. Maybe they take the lead. Maybe Ohio State's not playing this week, but instead Jack Sawyer had other plans. He's been special to watch, and the story is so much cooler that he is from Columbus. Went to one of the Pickeringtons, right? Like Pick North. Yeah. But just an unbelievable story, and it continues to get better. And you make a good point too there, Kev. Like, not everybody on this team can say that they improved their draft stock this year. Like, every one of them took a risk to come back. Like, there's a handful of them, JT, Denzel Burke, Jack, obviously, Cody. Like, these guys could have gone and gotten drafted last year. They all came back, and for Jack, he's bona fide first rounder. He's a top level guy in all of college football.
He is. I mean, you can say the same thing about Ty Lee. You can say the same thing about Cody Simon. They've played out of their minds, and they made the right decision coming back. I think they all have. There's a lot of people that have made a lot of plays this year. There's a lot of people that have made a lot of plays over their career. But, the problem with recency bias is just that. And the people that are standing out to me as people that have made the most plays recently are Ty Lee, Jack Sawyer, and Cody Simon. Of those seniors, they came back.
Yeah, and they've become an incredibly stout group. They've become a group that nobody wants to face. You face 2 top offenses in Tennessee and Oregon. You hold them to a combined, I just did the math there, combined 40 points between the 2 or less than that. And then you go face a Texas team that, had the horses to run with you, and you hold them to 14 points. It's pretty special stuff. The run that this group is on is amazing. And I think that we'll get into the matchup here in a little bit, but Monday night could be a lot more of the same. But Kevin, the story coming out of that Cotton Bowl, of that semifinal game, obviously the goal to go scenario. But you and I have been talking about it all year long. This team has the weirdest thing about them, where they give up a bunch of yards between the 20s, and then in the red zone, it becomes really, really hard. And then if you get the ball inside the 10, it becomes damn near impossible to score. An unbelievable tweet that I'm going to pull up here that we saw that thankfully you found, but from Woodyverse World, right? He says 5 different screenshots of games this year: 1 against Oregon, 1 against Nebraska, 1 against Penn State, 1 against the team up north, 1 against Texas. I'll pull down the cursor here. All 5 of these resulted in a combined 7 points. You combine the result of all 5 of these scenarios, they result in 7 points. It's uncanny what this group does when the opponent gets the first and goal.
I don't even know who the 7 points are. I don't know who got the 7 point. It wasn't Team Up North. It wasn't Texas.
This
it
ended
wasn't
it.
Penn State. I don't remember if it was.
You know what? It was Nebraska. It was Nebraska. They ran it in, and it wasn't a throw. I remember they punched it in maybe on 4th and goal.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the first rushing touchdown we gave up all year. But that's just where they're. These guys have been bend don't break all year. We can be critical all we want, but the results speak for themselves, and that's how they've decided to. That's where they felt comfortable. That's how they decided to play this year, and it speaks wonders. And
Kevin, this isn't Akron, Western Michigan, and Marshall. This is Oregon, number 1 team in the country. Penn State, number 3 team in the country. Team up north, not up there this year. Nebraska, not there this year. Texas, number 2 team, whatever the hell they were when we played them last. I mean, these are legit offenses that this stuff was happening to, and it's actually ridiculous, their ability to not give up. Jack Sawyer earlier in the year said it best. He said, if you're going to give us an inch, we're going to defend it, right? And this group will continue to fight, scratch, claw until that ball crosses the goal line, and it's going to be really challenging for Notre Dame, I think, to accomplish that. So when Kev, when you're thinking about attacking this Ohio State team, right? Let's put your offensive coordinator hat on. You're scheming them up. You're looking at this group. You're watching them on tape. in your opinion, man, what group is the best? What position group on this team is the best, the most impactful, the most valuable? What, in your mind, in your opinion here, I'm putting you on the spot. What group is it? Because you could go anywhere.
I would probably, if I had to pick one, it'd be the linebackers. I mean, this defensive line is playing well. The defensive backs are playing well, but they've had their games. The linebackers have been pretty stout throughout. I mean, we've given Sonny Styles some criticism. He played a great game against Texas. I saw a clip of them talking about that fourth and 10, he played like a double coverage that would have, handled the it would have handled the game well. He would have been able to. I apologize.
Hey, you're a popular cat, man. You got people
driving me
nuts. Hey, we need a light outside your door. We need a light outside your door that says, "Hey, we're live here."
Put it on Do Not Disturb, and they still call it. Drives me nuts. No, but the linebackers are where it is. I mean, these DBs have played phenomenally. These D linemen have played great in the playoffs. It's just a matter of, consistency, and that's where it has been. It's been Cody Simon, it's been Sonny Styles in that middle linebacker, in that consistency all year.
Yeah, and those two guys, man, we talk about Cody Simon on a weekly basis. He's been everything and more that this team has needed. And I think the word you use there, consistency, is the perfect word. You know, you look at your two leaders in tackles, right? Number one, Cody Simon, 104 total tackles on the year, 47 solos. Number two, Sonny Styles, 94 total tackles on the year, 46 solos. Each one of them 7 sacks and 5 sacks respectively. Like, they were right there. 7 pass deflections for Cody, 5 for Sonny. Like, these guys are, almost not spitting images of each other, mirror images of each other, even that, but they play with such they play like just hand in hand almost. Like they feed off each other very, very well. They fly around, they're fast. We showed a couple clips of Sonny making some big plays in that Texas game, and their continued availability, man. That's something that steps out to me too. Is like, there hasn't been a game, I can't even think of if either of those guys have missed a game. Maybe they've missed 1 or 2. But every week, that 0 is going to be standing next to number 6, and they're going to make your life hell because they're faster than you, they're stronger than you, they hit harder than you, and they're going to come to the ball with bad intentions. And it's been fun to watch. And as we talked about earlier in the year, in my opinion, I would say my answer to that question is the safety group with Lathan Ransom, Caleb Downs, and Jordan Hancock, just because I think I've said it probably on every show. They can play everywhere. They can play deep. They can play tight to the line. They can put their hand in the ground and rush the quarterback. They can play linebacker and tackle with running back. They can also defend in the post. The point I'm trying to make is that you take those 5 players, Cody, Sonny, Caleb, Jordan, Lathan, that's 5 dudes right there. And you're going to have a freaking problem trying to move the football, let alone score. You have a problem to try to move the football against that group.
Yeah, I mean, confuse. Just try to confuse these guys. It's nearly impossible. Texas was known for its like big plays and known for its trick plays and trying to confuse the defense. I couldn't see it. I mean, it was unbelievable to watch all year long. They were technically sound. They were assignment sound. They just did a great job top to bottom where they didn't play too far outside themselves, made a lot of plays, and they didn't really draw a whole lot of unnecessary penalties. Mm-hmm. I can think of one person that might have, but the rest of them seemed to kind of play within themselves and play within the confines of the game and do it to a top level, elite level ability.
It's really amazing. The best example of it, I tweeted it earlier today from our Twitter page. Ohio State. I got to get the actual handle. Ohio State Buckeyes on SI. You can just search it; you'll find us. But I retweeted it, and it was a behind like a quarterback's view clip of Sonny's 3rd down sack where he actually stripped the ball out of Quinn Ewers' hands. Basically, it was like a floating defense where there was one guy with his hand down, and you didn't know if Caleb was going to blitz, if Cody was going to blitz, if Sonny was going to blitz, if Jack was going to blitz, if JT was going to come on a rush. Like, it was it was this defense personified. It was an unbelievable play. Obviously, it ends with a Cody Simon strip sack, but just there's so many positive adjectives you could say about this Ohio State defense. Every level's got NFL type dudes on it, right? JT and Jack, NFL. Tyleek in the middle, NFL. Cody and Sonny, both NFL. All three of your safeties, well, probably Lathan and Caleb for sure, but all three of your safeties have that potential. And even your corners, those are NFL guys too. You got 11 NFL players potentially on the field at once. This group is unbelievable, man. And Notre Dame's going to have their hands full. I think that to get to the national championship game is amazing, right? To get there is pretty spectacular. The way that Notre Dame did is shocking because they've pretty much, for all intents and purposes, have become a one-dimensional team where they just run the heck out of the football. They do so soundly. They try to punish you, but their threat of the pass is hardly there. And for Ohio State, you got to be licking your chops. Yeah,
I mean, it's not that they haven't passed the ball. I mean, they have, but they're ranked 102 in the country in passing.
That's down there with like Army and Navy, right?
It's just above Old Dominion. But that's just the reality of the day. Riley Leonard has been a running quarterback this year. They've had some great. They've had some good. I mean, they have a good receiver. I mean, who's the kid? Jaden. Greathouse. Like, I mean, he played national champion. I mean, he played in three straight. He played in three straight Texas. I think he won them state championships. He's not a bad player by any means. It's just a matter of Riley Leonard getting in the ball.
Mm-hmm. No, it's actually shocking to look at. Like, we're just going to talk stats just real quick. Riley Leonard is thrown for 2,606 yards, 66% completion, solid, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. All solid numbers, right? Solid numbers. Will Howard did that like in week 8. Jeremiah Love's their running back. He's their lead guy. He's the guy who's been getting a lot of love right now, no pun intended, but he's got a bum knee, right? So you're going to see him run around with the knee brace. He still showed his strength and ability and athleticism. He's jumping over guys even with a bum leg. He had that incredible touchdown run where he broke like 3-4 tackles and punched it in. So he's still going to be a threat, maybe not the biggest threat, but he's got over 1,000 yards on the year. He's got 17 touchdowns. Their second highest rusher, Riley Leonard, 866 yards on the ground and 16 touchdowns, right? So they get down in that low red area. They're going to try to run it with either Love or the quarterback, Riley Leonard. The two other guys, Jadarian Price, who's going to get some love, and then Aeneas Williams, who's also going to get some carries as well with Love's injury. Both guys are solid. Price, 733 yards on the year, and Williams, 219 yards on the year. Both of them have found the end zone a handful of times, but they got about three running backs, one quarterback that they lean on. Then the funny part is the receiving group, right? Greathouse leads the way, 464 yards receiving. Bo Collins is in number 2 with 458, and then Mitchell Evans, their tight end, has 369. We're going to compare that to the Ohio State room, where Jeremiah leads the way with 1,277 yards. Mekhi Obuka's got 947 yards. Carnell Tate's got 694 yards, and Travion Henderson, our running back, 284 yards, would be fourth highest receiver on this Notre Dame roster. It's just two totally different groups. And for Notre Dame, you can't, in my opinion, you can't come into this game thinking you're going to run the football in Ohio State. Because if you do that, good night, Irene. Don't even get off the bus.
Right. Exactly. I mean, we're the number 1 rushing defense in the country. The next one is Notre Dame's. So it's not like they're practicing against chumps, but they haven't seen anybody like us yet. And as long as we can play how we've played all year, stay upright, stay healthy for 60 minutes, there's no one that can compete with us. It just seems like it. I mean, I don't know, but it seems like, and this might be our best test against football. Like, Team Up North ran the ball well, but they had their full healthy offensive line, which is something that is also we could touch on, is their left tackle has been ruled out with an ankle sprain, and their left guard or right guard rolled his ankle as well in the game. So they might be playing definitely down 1, it sounds like, but maybe down 2.
And we sat here on this show and last week and thought and talked about, hey, if Texas can get to 20 points, that's how they have a chance to win. Like, I don't see a world and I agree, I would say the same thing. If Notre Dame could find their way to 20 points-ish, like they're going to have a chance. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but like that would be the number that anything less than that, you don't have a chance. But you get to 20 plus, you can't. I don't see a way that they can do that. Like honest to God, because if you break, like if Ohio State has an MA on a run fit, you get 10 yards. It's not like you're going to break something for 80 to go to the house. Like Jeremiah Love did. He went 99 against Indiana. Like that's not happening against Ohio State. One, because they're too technically sound, and two, they're too darn athletic. Like I don't see a world where Notre Dame can put 3, 4, 5 drives together that get across the 50-yard line, let alone score. It's like, it just feels to me, and not in a disrespectful way, it just feels to me that the advantage that Ohio State's defense is going to have come Monday night is going to be too significant for Notre Dame to try to overcome.
No, I agree. They're going to be they're just, it's going to be a brick wall, and that's what we're going to see from this Ohio State team. That's what they're known for, especially up in the red zone. I mean, we already showed it, but like, it's just going to be insane to watch, I think, because it's going to be like an immovable object versus an unstoppable
force. Look at that. Come on. I love that line out of you, Kev. One a night. You always are good for one a night. So, Kev, as you look at this game, obviously we talked about there's a huge advantage for Ohio State, but what are some keys to victory? I have one in my mind that I think you're going to say, but I'll turn it over to you. What are a couple keys to victory for this Ohio State defense?
Force Riley Leonard to throw the ball.
Yeah.
That's the one and only I have, is if you can get him to throw the ball, get him behind the chains, get him behind in the scoreboard, have him throw the ball.
Yeah. I'm bringing an old one back, an oldie but a goodie. A few weeks back, you tried to – we were going to count 3 and outs. We were going to do that. I don't think it's going to be total domination, but I do think that if you can shut down Notre Dame and not let them get first downs, right? And I say this because – that will just totally kill any momentum, because there's a real world where early on in the game, Notre Dame's defense can keep the Irish in it, right? Maybe they force a turnover, maybe they force a couple stops. But the flip side of that is, if let's say they do throw an interception and then Ohio State's defense comes out and forces an immediate 3 and out, that kills all the momentum, all of it. So for me, force some 3 and outs, and don't let this Ohio State offense, or excuse me, this Notre Dame offense find any positive, right? Don't let them even breathe at all. Ohio State's shown the ability to do that, and they certainly will have the opportunity to do so come Monday night. Yeah, you did mute yourself there. There you go.
I'm all over the place. I apologize. No, but that's kind of where we. I mean, that you said it best. Like, if we, like I said, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs. We've been saying it all year, and they haven't been doing it because they've been waiting until the goal line to have the 3 and out. But that's just the reality of the situation. If we can get them off the field, I don't think you're looking at a similar to Alabama Notre Dame national championship, but it's going to be. I'm hoping it's a good sized blowout.
Yeah, it has the ingredients to be one, and we're getting so close, right? Only a handful of days left as we get into the weekend. If you're traveling down to Atlanta, obviously safe travels, but enjoy the heck out of it. We'll be down there. I'll be down there. I'm getting in on Friday night. We'll be there all weekend long, and obviously excited for the game. So if you're traveling down there, safe travels down there. But we're gonna be with you regardless. So make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're following on Twitter, whatever you're watching on right now. Head over to the other and hit that follow or hit that subscribe button, because we're gonna have both pages full of content. I'll be tweeting a bunch, getting a bunch of live content up here on YouTube as well. Also, head over to our site. It's gonna roll right below me here in a second. si.com/college/Ohio State. Our team's working really hard to keep a bunch of fresh content for you. As you know, as we know, you have a ton of different places to get your Buckeye content. We appreciate you making Ohio State Buckeyes on SI just one of your stops. All right, Kev. Next up for us, we have a pregame show. But before then, any final thoughts before we hit the road tonight?
No, I think we hit it all. I think we're good. It'll be fun. I mean, Ohio State and Notre Dame have met. Oh God, I don't know how many times. I think 8 times in their career, and in the 30s, Notre Dame won both of them, and since then we've been able to top them. So let's hope we can keep doing it.
You know, it's funny, and we can keep this short, but these 2 teams played last year, right? Week 4 of last year. both programs couldn't look different, couldn't look any more different than they do, right? It was that wild game over in South Bend where Chip Trainum, there you go, there's a name from the past, punched it across the end zone. He was handed the ball off from Kyle McCord. They get over the end zone. They beat the Irish. But we'll see. I don't expect it to be that close come Monday night, but you never know. You never know. These games can get weird. They can get wacky. Heck, it's the national championship game. You're going to get Notre Dame's best effort, and Notre Dame is going to get Ohio State's best effort. We'll have you covered regardless of what happens come pregame, postgame, all that stuff. So, like I said, make sure you're following along. Make sure you're subscribed. But we appreciate you hanging out with us tonight as we preview the Ohio State defense versus the Notre Dame Fighting Irish offense on the Ohio State Buckeyes on SI YouTube channel.